So the Geek Speak Show, continuing our coverage here of the Schulz Museum's 15th anniversary, talking to a lot of the artists that are here, being a part of the celebration. With us now is Emily Martin. Emily, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So what are you showing to everybody that's here?
Well, right now we're showing the current group of trade paperbacks that we have for Princeless, which is a story about a princess who rescues herself. That I work on with Jeremy Whitley, who is a writer for Unstoppable Wasp, among other many wonderful books. And we also have our anthologies from classes that we teach here in Santa Rosa and Rohnert Park, where we have collections of student work that we sell and promote every year. So we have the last few years of the anthologies here that feature our fantastic students from Megamoth Studio, which is the name of the class program that I run. But Brett and I both work on Princeless, and we're continuing to work on the book. We're going to be coming out with Volume 6 this winter, and I'm currently working on the next volume, so that's going to be exciting.
Without spoiling, if somebody's hearing about Princess for the first time, what's the premise of the story?
Well, Adrienne Ash is a princess among 7 sisters. So all of her sisters and she are locked in towers by their relatively traditional parents to await Prince Charming. It's kind of a family tradition, but Adrienne thinks that is lame, which honestly, I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
So instead of waiting around for Prince Charming, she teams up with her guardian dragon, Sparky, who's here on the cover, and they go on adventures to find her sisters, who are also likewise trapped or hidden in towers and castles and places. And she goes on a mighty adventure with her friend Bedelia, who is half human, half dwarf. And she possesses mighty strength and but a humanoid height rather than a dwarf height. So she's relatively tall. So those are the adventures of Adrienne, Bedelia, and Sparky from Princeless.
Yes, I'm assuming they're available at bookstores.
Yes, you can find them at most comic shops, and some bookstores. You could probably special order them at local bookstores, and they have them on Amazon and on Comixology if you like getting digital copies of comics for the Kindle or for the tablet and everything. So.
Yeah, let me ask you that actually. 'Cause some of the artists here, they are working on some digital stuff. Now, for you, which do you prefer, working digitally or the traditional ink and paper?
I prefer ink to paper. Although now we have a digital inker who's fantastic that we work with, which makes pages really a lot quicker. But I really like working with traditional media. Brett, our colorist and letterer, he works digitally, but both of us like working both digitally and traditionally. But for me, it's if I'm doing something for a client or for something like Princeless Comics, I really prefer traditional.
In the classes that you teach here, do you teach in the digital or the traditional?
As much as we can of both. Mm-hmm. Traditional materials are generally easier to come by, so we start with just pencils and paper and go from there. The nice thing about comics is that you really don't need very fancy materials to make them. They're great when you can find them, if you can get the good templates and you can get the good programs and things like that. But to make a good comic, you don't need anything more than printer paper and a number 2 pencil. And we don't have a lot of the current programs on our computers, but we do have some digital stuff, and Brett actually does a really good job of teaching like Photoshop and various digital techniques.
Yeah, let's share the microphone. Brett, let me have you jump in. Actually, get your thought on that. For you, who actually does this, do you prefer digital or the old-fashioned way?
Honestly, I really prefer the traditional way as well. If I had a choice, I would probably do watercolors for everything. But I find that in terms of having a fast turnaround for comics and wanting to be able to apply notes from editors or writers or other artists and things like that, the digital ends up being a lot easier to work with as a tool for just changing colors or textures around if I need to. And also, it ends up with a really bright, saturated color finish, which works really well for this comic in particular. So.
Now, I know in our audience we have a lot of kids who want to be where you guys are, and let me ask a question. They're probably asking, well, don't the big guys, if they want to hire me, don't they want me to work digital? I mean, what would you say to that?
Learn all of it. If you work really well on paper, then your work is really good and people are going to like it, and they'll be able to scan it and do whatever they need to in post-production for you. If you have a wide set of skills, if you can do traditional work, if you can do watercolor, if you can do markers and digital or three-dimensional stuff or animation, whatever, if you can do all of it, then that's going to be helpful because then you're going to have more tools that you can use to serve a client in some capacity. So I wouldn't close yourself off to any particular medium just because it is what it is. You'll find stuff that you like to do, and you'll get really good at that stuff, and that'll be what you do. And there's going to be value in all of it. So,
great answer. Love that answer. I always say that is, if you have the talent, it's going to come out no matter what you're using.
Absolutely.
So, both of you guys give your website, social media, where everybody can follow you.
Okay. I'm at brettgrunig.com. That's B as in boy, RETT. GRUN as in Nancy IG.com, which is just my name. So there's that. And I'm on Twitter also at Brett Grunig.
Or watch The Beauty of Digital. There it is, right there. And yours?
I'm Megamoth on Twitter and on most social media. I think I'm Megamoth Studio on Instagram, maybe. But we have Megamoth Studio actually has quite a few presence on Twitter and on Facebook. So if you look up Megamoth Studio, and then I also have my website, megamoth.net, where I have most of my illustration stuff and some of the comic pages from the various comics that I've drawn. So
see, that's how you do it right there. With Brett, we did it digitally. With Emily, the old-fashioned way. It's right there. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thank you very much.